Dar on this morning.
Randy, let us know if you can hear us.
Oh, you might need your headphones on just so he can answer, because in case the TV's not coming in.
Okay, I'll try that again. Randy, can you hear us?
Bring Zoom back out the front. Might not come out. Move it over to the other TV. You have to bring it back up and move it over to the other TV. And now you've lost it.
Where'd it go?
You put it behind your middle screen.
Oh, this is fun. Well, how do I get it back out? Okay.
I'm not sure now. I'm not sure how you're going to get that back out.
Sorry, you get to watch all the bloopers as we navigate through here.
All right. Randy, can you let us know if you can hear us?
He says it's still connecting.
Oh, gotcha.
There he is.
There's Randy.
Our video's shut off on Zoom. There we go. All right, Randy, can you hear us? Yes, he said.
Yeah, but you can't hear. Okay. Very good. Very good. Awesome. This is where we're going live. We're headed out into the live world. We're already out on Facebook. You know that?
I know. They got to watch all of our bloopers as we configured all this.
It's all the joy of making it all work. That's how it all comes together.
I'm still learning, so it's a good thing that you're here.
Really?
Yeah, because
well, we might have an issue if I can't get this thing to go away as we're starting to count down. Countdown's going to need to shut off. There it is. Now I know we can get it shut off. Very good. Love this stuff, don't you?
oh yes, technology. It's my favorite thing.
We're learning and growing every day. Learning and growing every day. That's the whole idea. I think that's our topic this morning. That's going to be a fun topic to talk about. You know, these are some bright lights in here.
They are, but
Don't you like bright lights, though?
they make me shine.
There you go. I love it. I love it. We're down to about like a minute, right?
Yes.
Or are we actually overtime? Is it time to go?
Well,
Is it like
yeah,
6:30 already?
I think your timer started late.
Timer started late. There we go. Okay, Rebecca, we're live.
All right. Well,
We're live and we are on.
just want to say good morning to everybody and hope everybody had a great weekend. We didn't do a whole lot. Started watching a show this weekend I did called We Crashed about the WeWorks, and it was kind of interesting.
What did you find interesting?
Well, you know, it is made for TV, so I'm sure there's not everything is true in it, but just it was one of those things that I believe that Adam had a great idea.
Some of our listeners may not know what WeWork is.
Now, WeWork is a very large co-working space. Let's see, they started it back, when did they start that? Well, I think it started to come to fruition in '08. but and it crashed. They lost billions.
They built it.
They built it.
Had an evaluation of $45 billion co-working space.
Yeah.
And then it crashed.
And
Why
then
did it crash?
In my opinion, he got a God complex and started to get greedy. It was my opinion. But anyway, it was a good show. I do want to also mention this morning it was 22 years ago, September 11th. Mm-hmm. And I remember exactly what I was doing. You know, my memory is not very good all the time, but that is one thing that I will, as they say, never forget. I was working at McMean Physical Therapy in Broken Bow and helping a patient out on the table when the first plane crash came about. And, you know, at the moment, all you could think of was, oh my goodness, there was, you know, a plane crashed into one of the towers. And then not too long later, the second plane hit. And it gives me goosebumps and tingles just thinking about it, because it was a day that I will remember forever.
It was a devastating day. I was standing at the shop bench out in Westerville. We were farming out there, working with a farmer out there, running our fuel business, and we were doing harvest. We were doing a lot of different things, getting ready for harvest. And yeah, I was standing at the shop bench, and it came over the radio. And it's just one of those moments that, you know, for some reason, you know exactly where you were, you know exactly what you were doing. All those memories just stick right out. And it's one of those days in history that, you know, we applaud the firemen, the policemen. We applaud everybody that was so courageous and so brave on that day that, you know, and we take so many things for granted, my friends. In this country, we take so many things for granted. And we were reminded on that day just how vulnerable we can be. And it's one of those things that I'm reminded of all the time in today's world. It's the importance of what we do here. We teach leadership, but we also teach a concept of leadership that is often missed, which is love. A love for other people, a love for the people around us, a love for other people in this world. And there's, you know, hatred destroys. Hate, greed, contempt, envy, all these things destroy lives. And the thing that we really want to do here, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about it today, is the whole idea is to create love, joy, and peace. The scripture would call it the fruit of the Spirit, which can really only come from a love of God and a love of people. And that is what we believe and what we fight for, and it's what we stand for with our leadership and our business training. And when people are truly loving each other, we're going to see a lot less of that in the world.
Yeah.
So, Rebecca, let's kick this off then. I think our topic, we got people coming in. Our topic is...
Our topic today is encouraging a culture of continuous improvement.
Yep, continuous improvement. Now, what was your why behind choosing that topic today?
I think part of it is personal for me. You know, I think sometimes we get comfortable where we're at, and we need to be continuously improving. We need to be learning every day something new. And, you know, there are some people out there in their employment that maybe they do the absolutely same thing every day. Mm-hmm. Every 5 minutes at their work, it's the same thing. But I do think that there's things that you can be improving on somewhere, somehow. And so that's where that came about, is just we can continuously be learning. I tell myself that I can't learn anymore because I already know it all, but that's not true. I learn something new every day. Sometimes it's hard for me to hear because it might be something that maybe I didn't think about all those years or think about in a different way, but it is a process, and it's just improving myself, growing.
So what's the process that you use for improvement? What are you doing today, and how are you going about that?
I'm trying to read more. I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is grab my phone. And it's not to grab my phone to read a book or improve. It's to, what did I miss on Facebook or TikTok? And it's really gotten to be a bad habit for me. But the thing about it is it kind of sets the tone for my day. There are things on there that I read that are very empowering, that are very uplifting. But then on the other side of it, there are some things that I listen to that maybe make me think in a different way that's not great. And
Why don't you just say it's negative?
well, it's negative. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it is negative.
It's not just not great. It's just flat out bad. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I do think that those platforms are really good, but I do also think that they can hinder improvement. They can hinder, because we start comparing. We start looking at other people's lives, and we start believing things that maybe we wouldn't have thought of. But anyway, and I do it when I go to bed. That's how I go to bed at night, is I scroll through until I can't keep my eyes open. And I'm trying to learn to relax in the evening, trying to learn to read before I go to bed. And so that's my improvement. I've always thought I would improve just by listening to what Kylan tells me in my daily coaching sessions. that was my improvement. But it's not. It's I've got to dive deeper into it, and I've got to make a conscious effort to do it every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a process. It really, really is. So Rebecca, would you like to go through the process that we recommend for personal development, personal improvement? Do you remember what they are? The 6 steps?
Yes, I do.
Then
I will surprise you.
Okay, let's hear the 6 steps for personal growth and development.
Awareness.
Okay.
Commit.
Yep.
Learn.
Okay.
Implement. Evaluate. Repeat.
Very nice. Very good.
Oh,
very good.
believe me.
So, which one do you want to talk about specifically in those 6 steps?
I think the biggest thing for me is implement. I know being in this business, there is a lot of things that we talk with our coaching clients and with our clients that there's some of those things that we need to implement ourselves. We need to improve ourselves in our business and in our life. And I think implementation is hard. You can read books all day long. You can listen to podcasts all day long. You can look at quotes all day long, and they're motivating and they're powerful. But if you don't implement them into your life, what is it doing? I mean, what is it there for?
That's the whole misconception, I think, around the self-improvement space, the personal development space. The thing that self-improvement. Let's hang on that word for a minute. I really do not like the term self-improvement. I love the term personal development, which a lot of people think it's the same, but actually it's considerably different. I love the term growth. I love those types of terms. But self-improvement, the biggest problem that I have with that is a lot of people get stuck. They get stuck with self-improvement. And what it boils down to is they focus on self for the purpose of just gaining knowledge, and just bring so much in, but then there's no implementation, like you said, right? And the implementation is what changes the industry. It's what changes the world. It's what brings improvement to the world around us, is the implementation of what is learned and what is known. And that's the part that even, frustrates me the most about a lot of people who sell in this industry, and they sell their books and they sell their stuff, and they want you to read, but they don't talk near enough about implementing what's in their books. Knowing it, knowledge in and of itself has zero power. Knowledge has zero power. It only has power when you put something to action, when you take leadership skills that you learn and you put them to action, communication skills, and you put them to action. The implementation part is one of the hardest things. It is one of the hardest things.
It is, and because it takes work.
It takes work, absolutely. It takes change. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to accept that maybe you're not right. You have to be willing to accept that maybe, just maybe, all the things that I've believed my whole entire life could be skewed, maybe even wrong, right? The things that we have believed for so long. I've done that myself, working in the water industry across multiple states and across multiple public entities where there's a lot of politics involved, there's a lot of policy involved. And, growing up on a farm in central Nebraska and growing up with my grandfather, who, as you guys all know, is an amazing mentor of mine, I developed in my own head a belief system that I've held to for a long time in the water industry. And I've always thought that I'm right, and it was foundationally true. And I am absolutely right with the knowledge and the education that I have in that industry that goes all the way back into my youth, right? But I got to say, as I've traveled across the country, I've worked in different organizations, I've worked with different people, and here's the thing. Some of my best friends today are actually, we disagree on politics. We're on different sides of the Democrat and Republican table, right? But they're tremendous friends of mine today because I have learned to listen to them. I've learned to connect with how they're seeing the world, and they listen and connect with how I'm seeing the world. And you know what I've learned?
What's that?
Together, we can collaborate. We don't have to agree on every point, but we collaborate on the best things in life.
But don't you also find that you've also learned that maybe some of the things that you thought were right weren't?
They weren't right.
So that would make you
wrong.
Wait, repeat that. Hold on. We are recording this, right?
Yeah, but the reality of it is, I had some right points.
Right.
I had some right points, but so did a lot of my other colleagues, my peers that I've worked with in this industry. They have so many right points. At the end of the day, there are more things in this world, there are more things in this country that unite us than there are things that divide us.
But it's back to the topic of this discussion, and it's
That's right.
improving, and it's
improving. Yes.
It's improving your listening and your communication. It's improving your thought. Your mindset is that's been my biggest thing, is my mindset.
Yep.
I have lived in a negative mindset for so long. And the hardest thing for me to do is, and it's tough. I mean, it is a daily struggle for me. And I'm being completely transparent here. But it's hard when you think about the improvement. We talk a lot about our health improvement. And it's something that we talk a lot about because both of us, we've always said, we want to get healthy before a doctor tells us that we have to. And what does that mean? It means we don't eat the ice cream all the time. Ice
cream, though, there's good natural food in ice cream.
it means that we cut back on certain things that we thoroughly enjoy, and we learn to enjoy the healthy things. But it's something that we have to do consciously every day.
Yep.
And it's, I am a comfort food person.
Comfort kills.
I know that. But I like my Kraft macaroni and cheese a lot.
Yeah.
And that's when he knows whenever, if I'm having a super, super bad day, do you want me to make you some mac and cheese? But I know that is not healthy for me. And so improving on, I guess for me, improving, especially on the health part, is thinking, oh man, I'm going to have to eat chicken and vegetables for the rest of my life. And changing my mindset to think that is going to be delicious and I'm going to try some new things and, just changing your mindset on it. So encouraging
that actually does work. There was a time when you did not like sushi.
There was a time I didn't eat Brussels sprouts either, and I eat them now.
You eat Brussels sprouts, you eat asparagus, you eat sushi.
Now I am kind of picky on how they're cooked, but I will eat them. I've even eaten zucchini.
That's right. So there's one other place, Rebecca, that I see a lot of people struggling with personal development, personal improvement. And that is, where do we start? Where do we start? So the 6 steps that you put together there: awareness, commitment, learn, implement, evaluate, and repeat. Sometimes we have to consider the starting point, awareness. And what I have learned is a lot of people struggle with knowing how to become self-aware. Self-awareness is something that I didn't realize even in my own life. When I look back at when I started this personal development journey on my own, that the awareness element actually couldn't start. We have it marked as the starting point, because if you're in a process of continuous improvement, that is the starting point. Awareness is actually the beginning point of all growth. But sometimes we have to back up a couple of steps. We have to back up and evaluate our lives. We have to back up and look at ourselves from an evaluation standpoint, and we have to back up and say, and learn to ask ourselves questions. You and I talk a lot about the questions, right?
Right.
In the coaching sessions, what questions do you need to be asking? What questions do you need to be thinking about personally? And if you're not asking yourself the right questions, then you can't answer the right answers. So sometimes it's backing up. If you're just getting started in personal growth and development, or you like this concept of improving yourself to improve your life, if you want to start there, back up to evaluation. Once you're in the cycle, the repeat cycle, awareness will always be the starting point to a new level of growth. But if you're just getting started, back up and evaluate your life. Ask yourself, especially if you're not getting the results that you want, ask yourself this question: what should I be doing different to get a different outcome? Simple question, but ask it. Ask it out loud. Grab a pen and paper and write things down. We take these simple questions for granted, but it's the simple questions that bring the greatest outcome.
Right.
What results do I really truly want? What is the outcome that I desire that I'm not getting? Ask yourself the simplest questions, write it down on paper, raise your awareness through that process, and then make a commitment to changing something. See, that's the whole objective of that process of awareness, commit, to learn. It's because you're going to see something in your life that you want to be better, and you make a commitment to changing that. And personal growth and development is all about change. If you're staying the same every day, or if you see things staying the same every day, or if you want to and you feel like you need to stay the same every day, challenge yourself, because that's comfort. And comfort kills. Comfort kills companies. Comfort kills futures. Comfort kills dreams. Comfort, if you're super, super comfortable, you better be careful, because the world around you, everything around you is changing. The question is, are you going to change? Are you going to change with it?
Well,
Are you going to change to stay ahead of it?
you have to be honest with yourself, because if you're not,
No.
if you're not being honest with yourself,
If you're not honest with yourself, you're in trouble.
it's never going to work.
No.
I mean, I tell myself every once in a while, hey, I get some exercise. Well, I walk from the car to my office chair a couple times a day. That is not exercise. That is not, I'm sure it's not raising my heart rate. So you have to be honest with yourself about what you are aware of. And I think the whole thing with it is, you talked about where to start. People think where to start. I'm going to say something that's really easy to think about, but you just have to start. I mean, you have to stop thinking that this is what I want to do and start somewhere doing it. It might be, you always ask me, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It might be something small.
My question is, why would you want to eat an elephant?
They taste like chicken. I don't know.
I've never quite understood that. There's a lot of animals I'd rather eat than an elephant.
But you got to start somewhere. For me, it may be cutting out my late night snack or cutting out, but it's you've got to start somewhere. And I'll tell you what, when you start out somewhere and you achieve that goal, you find another one. You go to the next one. And slowly, if you do it slowly, because if you try to do it all at once, it'll get overwhelming. And then you feel defeated. And I will, 98% of the people, I think, would agree with that. But if you at least start out small, start out with something that that you need, a habit that you need to break, or a feeling or a mindset that you need to change. Do everything that you can do to work on that one piece.
Yeah.
And when you achieve that, then you move to the next one, and you move to the next one, and yourself, you are going to start feeling better. When I lose, it's tough for me because I live by the scale, and I shouldn't. But if I start feeling better, that's where I see it is myself. When I'm getting up and exercising every day, I feel good. Mm-hmm. I'm not depressed all day long. I'm not sad. I'm not gloomy. I'm not Eeyore. I feel good, and it makes a difference. So.
Yep. So as we get down towards the last few minutes of this morning, I want to challenge everybody to read a book. Before we started, and when you mentioned that we were going to talk about this, one of the things that I started looking at is how many people since college, how many households, how many high school students, how many people in general are reading. And when I started looking up the statistics, it was scary. It was scary how few people read. And there's actually statistics out here that say 80%, 8 out of 10 households didn't even buy a book last year. They didn't even buy a book. 8 out of 10 households didn't buy a book. How do you expect to improve? When I look at social media, when I look at all the other stuff, when I look around us in our culture as a whole, you called this a culture of personal development. When I look around, I'm not sure that we're improving as a culture. And I think part of that is we're not focused on improvement. We look outside of ourselves. We watch social media. We read a meme and we think we've developed. We haven't developed. So I'm going to challenge. I'm going to challenge our listeners, the people that are watching us today. I'm going to challenge you to get a book. We have them here in the office. If you come in, we'll get you one. But the challenge is this. John Maxwell wrote a book called The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And I would encourage everybody to start with that book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. The reason is if you're struggling with how to get started, just start with that book. And the very first thing that you're going to learn in that book is growth doesn't just happen. Growth doesn't just happen. Growth happens because you're intentional. Growth happens because you're doing something on purpose. When we look around and we think that growth is happening, it's a false perception. If you're not intentionally doing something about it, you may get the occasional highs and lows, but you're never going to be meeting your potential if you're not fully growing every day. And that would be my challenge to everyone, is to grab that book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, dive into it, put your comments out on Facebook of what you have learned about it, post it, be diligent about being intentional in reading something every day. I don't care if you just read one page. I don't care if you just read one paragraph. Read every day and grow yourself every day. Most important, as Rebecca mentioned, be intentional with the implementation. Take what you learn and implement it, and it'll start to change your life.
So we do have some people on our Zoom this morning. What do you guys do for self-improvement? What do you guys do for continuous improvement, I guess? Not just self-improvement, but continuous improvement. If anybody wants to speak into that, go ahead.
It's interesting you talk about reading a book, because I have a WhatsApp group of old school friends, and they actually asked just over the weekend, "So what book are you reading?" And I didn't have an answer because I don't have one. And it's just funny, it's ironic that you should make that challenge, because I kind of made it for myself anyway. And yeah, Rebecca, like you, I tend to be on my phone way too much, and I guess we all do. But that's how I tend to, go to sleep. Is keep scrolling until you just get too tired. But if you replace that activity with reading, I'd probably go to sleep quicker. Because, yeah, but I think you sleep better too. But it's just really ironic that you bring that up, because it's something that I've realized I've been thinking about, but it was the challenge of my friends saying, "What are you reading?" And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, not. And
Yeah,
so yeah, I have to make amends there.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's you've been challenged to raise your awareness, David. So now's your chance to do something with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's all.
That's the action is the critical thing there. So
Yeah,
yeah, but I will have to become more self-disciplined.
Yep.
yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that, David. I see Britt was getting unmuted earlier. Britt, you want to share something with us?
Oh, just I'm so sporadic on reading, and in true I fashion, I have about 6 books started. Um, but two things. On the book thing, it was years ago, I was listening to a podcast, and I think he was an athlete. I can't even remember what the heck podcast it was, but the thing that hit me about books, um, I can't even tell you how much money I've spent on books this year or the last few years, because his challenge that he had made to himself and then was challenging the listeners on the topic of books was he buys books instead of tennis shoes or fancy clothes or something because he's like, those things aren't ever going to make me better. They just make me flashier. And so that, on the topic of books and purchasing books. And I at times I feel like I took that to heart with the money that I dropped at the Valentine bookstore. But yeah, I look at it. I look at my crazy, way overflowing shelves of books, and I'm like, this is gonna be. I've got a lot of info there. I
Yep.
just need to sit down and take the time and a lot of different perspectives. I've surprised myself at some of the books that I've bought that I maybe normally wouldn't have, but I'm like, I need to listen to or read different perspectives on things. The other thing is just something, and I think Rebecca, you and I have talked about it, just daily gratitude. 10 things, no matter what the day was, sit down before you go to sleep and 10 things. There's been days where I've rattled off 15 things really easy, and then there's other days where it was just a trash day and you're just like food and water, the sun, the color green. Like you feel like you can't find anything, but you have to find 10.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's a huge thing for mindset, no matter what kind of day a person has had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gratitude is priceless. Absolutely. Well, that's good. One thing I might add, Brittany, to what you just said is with books and reading books, a lot of people, they believe they need to read the book from cover to cover to cover. And the one thing that I would challenge a lot of people to think about is, books like The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, that needs to be read cover to cover. Think and Grow Rich, cover to cover. Some of those books are just, that's what they need to be used for. But there's other times when you want to just, you look at the topics that are written about in a book, and you may only read 2 or 3 chapters because that's your area of personal development. Your awareness is, I need to focus on this level of communication. Maybe I'm just focusing on listening as part of my communication training. And these 3 chapters cover that topic. So that's what I'm going to read in that book.
Right.
And that $18 book now becomes worth $1,800 because you picked up 2 things out of those 3 chapters.
Right.
You don't have to read every chapter per se. Randy, I saw you unmute. What are you thinking about today, Randy, for personal improvement?
Well, I think I know Britt, I know David, I know you guys, I've known you all for quite some time. I think all of us probably struggle with getting sidetracked. I
Hmm.
mean, we're all so busy with what
Yep.
we do and things, and it's hard to stay on task.
Yep.
Keeping that regimented system in place to where you continuously do. Like you said, you can think about doing, or you can think about, okay, what we need to do. You can think about that until you're numb, but then the doing part is what's hard.
Right.
And I continuously find myself, it's a struggle. I know I want to do it, but doing it is just hard.
Well, and like you said, life happens. And I know for me, I'm going to bring up exercising again. I will do it really great for a week and a half, and then either maybe I get a cold or something, so I can't work out for a couple days, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to sleep in tomorrow, and I'll read a book, and I'll read like the first 4 chapters, and absolutely love it, but then I skip a day. And if I skip a day, then I'm like, well, I'll skip 2 days. And it's just that intentional. You got to be intentional. And it's like you said, it's a thought process.
Yep. So, Randy, what are you doing to stay on task? How do you discipline yourself?
That's a good question.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, making that committed change is hard, and being intentional. I know, Randy, one of the books that you and I have talked a lot about is John Maxwell's book on intentionality, and that is something that we have to learn how to do, is be intentional with our own time and with who we are. One of the things that I used to do with the company that I helped develop, several years ago, we had 7, 8 employees, and I challenged them to make the first hour of their workday. I wanted them on the clock, and this sounds crazy. A lot of people won't do this, but I wanted their first hour on the clock to be personal development. And what they had to do is they had to share with the rest of the team every week what they were learning, how they were implementing, and how they were growing, and how they were getting results. And they had to really focus in on that every day. That was their objective, and they had my permission to take that hour every day and invest in that. So it was pretty cool to watch those guys grow. All right,
Yep.
Rebecca, what do you want to? We're
Well, we're
a little
about
past
10
the
after
time, but
7, so we're a little past time, but that's okay. This has been a good discussion. So I guess my thoughts to leave you with, start. I feel that everybody has something that they want to work on, and you just got to start. And be intentional. I know, I would. So this is my accountability partner for health and exercise, and when we're driving around and go, oh, Dairy Queen, that sounds really good. We've got to work on being accountability partners just a little bit better. But
I'm your accountability partner in a lot of areas, not ice cream. Ice cream is a weakness for me.
so, but just start, talk about it, tell people.
Yep.
I've puttin'. Is that a word? Puttin'?
It is here today.
I have put many times out there on Facebook, starting this health journey again. We're going to get healthy and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thankful that nobody brings up those old Facebook posts and says, where you at on this? Because I'd be like, delete. But so that's my challenge, is start somewhere new today.
Yep. Get started, get going. And 15 Laws of Growth. Stop in here. Rebecca's got books. If you want to stop here at the office, we'll get you one. Or you go online and get them. It's absolutely worth every penny that you'll invest in that. And then make a personal improvement plan. Talk to us. Give us a call. We'll help you get started on a personal improvement plan. It will change your life. It'll absolutely change your life. So, all right, that's what we have for you then today. Rebecca, thank you for the topic. And remember, it is the anniversary of 9/11. It's one of those things we don't want to forget, but remember what we remember it for. The heroes of that day. There was a lot of destruction in that day, but remember the heroes, the one who fought to save lives, the ones that really fought for our country at that moment. And here's the other challenge. Remember how we all came together at those times. People that disagreed the day before were hugging, crying, and praying with each other the day after.
Yep.
And it is absolutely worth remembering that we're all human beings, and we all struggle, and we all have fears, and we all desire a great life of peace and happiness and joy. And when those days are disrupted, like they were 22 years ago, we want to remember that it's worth coming around and holding each other and loving each other.
Yep.
That's what it really boils down to. So let's remember them as we move forward throughout the day, and remember those who fought hard for us and give us the opportunities to be here and to do what we do today. So God bless, my friends. Make it awesome.
Bye.
We'll see ya.